Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Liam DeVal, and in this video I'm going to tell you why you should not manage your own refurbishment. Please do not do this unless you are planning on losing a lot of money, a lot of stress, a lot of sleep, or you have a lot of experience. So, give you a little bit of an overview of why I'm telling you not to do this and my experience. I have managed hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of refurbishments on millions of pounds worth of property over the last few years. Really stepped back from it now because of stress and headache and the chaos it causes managing builders, and I'm only doing little ones at the minute. But I've done anything from £5,000–6,000 rent-to-rent refurbishment decorations up to £80,000–90,000 extensions and full back-to-brick refurbs on flip projects, and everything in between as well on the BRR projects. Wins is when it goes easy, you don't hear about it, everything's nice and easy. I manage trade by trade from home, so I'm not on site. A lot of the projects are ones at the minute at Southampton, I've done Manchester, Stoke, Derby, they're local to me, but everything else is quite a while off. Highly recommend that you go and check previous projects. Even the site that you're working on now, that'd be really good to say. You're looking for a plasterer, you can go down the road, see what site you're working on at the minute, see if it's clean, see if it's tidy, see if everyone else is happy on the site, and to see what sort of working environment is like. So once you've got referrals, got a few different contractors in mind, a few different trades in mind, get quotes from multiples. So you can, again, plastering, it's just on my mind at the minute for some reason, you could range from plastering a 3-bed mid-terrace house from £3,500 up to £6,000–8,000, £8,000. The quotes are going to be massive difference. You're probably going to settle around the middle one. You're going to be negotiating that down towards the lower end one, depending on the project you've got. But pricing to everything, you need a good team. Workload and availability is always a good one. When you're asking for quotes, when they're coming around looking at the project, they're going to want to know when you want it doing anyway. You're probably going to be looking 6 to 8 weeks in advance for most trades, plumbers, electricians, plasterers, something like that. So get them in early, get everything lined up as early as possible. So when you're ripping out, you want to be thinking about putting the kitchen back in at the back end and laying the flooring. That's the sort of time scale you want to be working on. So once you've decided on a team, you've got your builder in mind, your contractors in mind. Another good point, top tip when you're looking for, you're getting people to come around and quote, is have everything written down. So I get all the different, so trade by trade this is as well, all the different roles and responsibilities they're going to be looking at. So rip out, you need everything that's going to be ripped out, from architraves, skirting boards, carpets, radiators, doors, everything that they're going to be ripping out, get it on the paper. Plasterer, you want to know every room that they're plastering, each wall, inside the fireplaces if you're making a little nook, ceilings, everything. Otherwise they'll come in and everyone's going to quote for different things. They're going to quote for just the walls or just the ceilings, or you didn't tell me about that, and it's going to be problems further down the line. So get everything written down at the quote stage, then everyone's quoting the same thing, and you can send that off with them as well or email it over to them so they all know what they're quoting and they're all quoting the same thing, and there's no questions further down the line when it comes to payment. So once you've decided on a build team, contractors, trade by trade, whatever you're doing, you've got all the people in mind, they've quoted, you need to create a detailed schedule of work so you know what sort of time scale everything's going to be running at. So it's going to look something like this. Hopefully Naomi's putting something in here. So you'll start off with the rip out, key handover, rip out, clean and tidy everything through, ready for the builders, and get everything nice and safe. Then you're going to start looking at first fix electrics, first fix plumbing, and all that sort of stuff. Make sure everything's scheduled. All your trades need to agree to the timescales as well. Obviously, when you're quoting, you're going to say how long it's going to take to do this, how long it's going to take to do that. You can put all that in your schedule of work. So then, once you start running behind, because 99% you will start running behind, you can ask questions, see what's gone wrong, and you can improve that onto the next one, and make changes and not do that mistake again. So as part of your scope of works, you want to be factoring in your site visits into this. So you want to be visiting site at least once a week, I'd say. That tends to be the best part for me. So if not once a week, you need to be at specific intervals. So rip out. So once the rip out's complete, you want to be on site before the first fix starts. That's where a lot of issues can be uncovered with rip out, such as rotten floor joists, damp that you didn't see before. Anything could be uncovered during a rip out, and we've had it all. So you want to have a look around then any issues that have been uncovered, you can add into your scope of work, get more quotes and get them fixed before we go any further down the line. You want to be next on site then, end of first fix, midway through first fix, somewhere like that, to make sure electricians getting everything in the right way. Electricians and plumbers tend to be working together, they're all on the same sort of run, so they're probably going to be falling out about something. Someone would have stole the run that they wanted to take, but make sure they're getting on, making sure everything's going in the right place. You don't want them dropping the cold feed for a shower down the wall when you're only having a bath or something like that, or the toilet's on the wrong side of the bathroom, or the spotlights are in the wrong place in the kitchen because they didn't quite match up on the plan and the electricians used their own ingenuity and it doesn't match to your vision. So these things need picking up on whilst it's going in, not afterwards when everyone's plastered and the electrician comes back and drills holes for his spotlights and you then realise they're in the wrong place because it's too late. You've lost it by that time. You're going to have to pay more to get in now, get him moved spotlights and get it re-blasted. So then you're boarding, you'll be plasterboarding, so get around when it's been boarded, get around when it's been skimmed, and then obviously final decoration and carpets and stuff like that. You're going to probably do a few more visits because that's the final touches when you're going to do it. You're going to be doing a lot of snagging. These inspection days can also be part of the payment plan. So I'm going to visit every Tuesday. If we've met this deadline, payments will be made on Friday, something like that. That's tend to be what I focus on. So I'll go around on Tuesday, check we've done all the check marks, everything's up to plan, and we can pay this part of the invoice. Obviously, if we've got any hold-ups, any delays, then this part of the invoice didn't get paid, and that's all agreed up front as well. Issues. So there are going to be issues regarding builders, there are going to be issues that it's not their fault, but you're going to get both. You need to know how to deal with them. Things come up in the project, so you rip the ceiling down, realise there's no insulation or something like that, so added cost. You take the floor up to run pipes and you realise that all the floorboards are rotten, so this is going to be it. Then that wouldn't be the builder's fault, that's on you, that's actually your contingency. Obviously the builder's on site, so be careful here because they're going to give you an inflated price. They're on site anyway, so they think you're just going to take it. Good tip there is come in the next day or the next week with a couple more builders to quote for that added work. They could just probably to give you an inflated price because they're already on site and they think you're going to take it. Come in with some more builders. I've done this before. Places drop on site rapidly and you get some better quotes. You also can get problems on site with builders or the trades, of course. One of the last projects I did, the one that made me decide to stop doing refurbs, to be fair, it was a nightmare. Don't ever do it by a property called number 13. Plasterer, he was an absolute nightmare. Everything was wrong. His work is very good, but his attitude stunk and it just upset everyone else on site and it just caused chaos, so we had to get rid of him in the end. You're going to get stuff like that. Don't be scared to get rid of trades. There's plenty more out there. Even if it causes you a couple of week delay, get rid of them because one bad egg on site can upset the whole workforce and everyone's pissed off and angry. It's going to cost you more money, it's going to just cause headache. Just get rid of them as soon as possible. Set payment terms up front. So before any work starts on site, you need to set the payment terms. You're going to be doing A, B, C. We'll pay you when A is ticked off, when B is ticked off, and when C is ticked off. No one's going to want to wait 6 to 9 weeks for payment when the whole project's completed. They're not going to cash flow your project. So they're going to want payments every week or the weeks. Great, we'll pay you. Once this part's been ticked off and inspected, great, we'll pay you. It's all good. If you don't set payment terms up front, everyone's going to have different ideas. So the builder's going to think you're going to get paid weekly, you're going to think you're going to get paid at the end of the project. Get it in writing. It's an awkward conversation to have. It's always an awkward conversation to have, but it's better doing it up front than arguing about it later down the line when you're in the middle of a project. They want to get it done, get out, get moved on to the next one, and you just want it done so you can get it rented out or flipped and sold. With contractors, a lot of them are going to ask you to pay a deposit. If they're doing the whole work, they're going to want some kind of deposit. Do not overpay on the deposit. Luckily, I've not done this, but I know people that have. They've paid on the deposit, and the contractors just got lazy then. They've had a load of money and they don't really care about the project. Keep it minimal, but remember, they need to earn a living too. They're not going to cash flow your project. This is another reason I like trade by trade, because any deposits are minimal and they're in and out within a couple of weeks. So any issues are done within a couple of weeks. Contractor, you've got them for the duration of the project. So do not overpay. Probably 5 to 10% is about the sort of average of the total invoice. Then paying stages, once each stage is ticked off and everyone's happy, that invoice gets paid, and it does not get paid until that point. Retainers. I also keep a retainer until the end of the project is complete. So, or not project, if you're doing trade by trade. So electrician comes in, do the first fix, you get paid X amount for doing the first fix. It's not fair on them to have to wait for that. They've brought all the materials, that's where the bulk of their materials are. They shouldn't have to wait 6 to 8 weeks for everyone else to finish. So yeah, first fix, everyone's ticked off, everything's happy, in the right place, pay that first invoice. They then come back at the end of the project when we're ready for second fix, everything's ticked off, but then I won't pay the full second invoice until the whole project's complete and everything's tested, everything's working further down the line. So yeah, you can be very successful running your own project, but be prepared for headaches, be prepared for chaos, be prepared for everything. Everything is your fault essentially. You've got to take that one. So whatever the problem is, it's your fault. You've got to go get it dealt with, get in there, get the materials delivered, or get the next build team in, get it done basically. Get it moving as quick as possible, because every minute that property is not being sold or being rented is costing you or your client money.